Right, welcome back to the Dan and Dawes channel.
Experience.
I don't know, podcast, whatever.
Podcast.
Yeah, what
Video cast.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to call it. Where two middle-class white men discuss film and TV, which hasn't been done before. It's a very original concept.
Yes. The market isn't saturated whatsoever.
No, today we thought we'd talk about Doctor Who. I last night listened to a podcast. David Tennant has started a podcast. It's really good, actually.
Just a little plug there.
Yeah, a little plug for Mr. Tennant. If he wants to do the same, that'd be great. No, but it was interesting because obviously Tennant playing the 10th Doctor, he actually had Jodie Whittaker on, and I mean they've known each other previously from Broadchurch, and they were talking about, you know, their friendship, and I think when she was announced as the Doctor, they were together in New York having a meal discussing it, which I thought was really interesting. But it prompted me, you know, let's talk about the show because there's been a bit of time away from it now. The final
time to reflect.
Yes, season 11 has finished. You didn't finish it, did you? You couldn't get to the end of it.
I'm coming at it from an angle where I gave up with 2 episodes to go, I think, and then I didn't see the New Year's one either. So.
Yeah. I did finish it. I mean, I don't think I fully watched some episodes in the middle of the season, but I thought we'd talk about pros and cons and what's next for the series. I think the first thing on the table, the big thing that happened was that, you know, a woman was cast as a Doctor.
Yeah.
A lot of people were sceptical, but I actually really liked Jodie.
Yeah.
I thought throughout the season, I thought she came across as really likeable and fun, and I think a lot of people get a bit too kind of hung up on, well, in this exact situation, this Doctor would have done this and not, and it's like, well, it's a different Doctor.
It's always going to be a big change.
Yeah.
Considering you go into a female.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the pre-concerns were the fact that could a woman still do it justice, etc. And yeah, she did, I think.
Well, it showed. I mean, in previous season they had they replaced the Master as Missy, didn't they? And
she was phenomenal.
She was brilliant. I think her name's Michelle Rodriguez. That could be completely wrong.
She was in Bad Education as well.
Was she?
Playing obviously a completely different role.
No, but she brought that. I don't know. It was a really fun but sinister character at the same time. She was really good, and I think that Jodie Whittaker has been pretty good as the Doctor. Not my favourite by any means, but pretty good. I think a lot of the other problems lie elsewhere. Another thing that I really liked, I thought that the CGI and the cinematography was gorgeous in this season. There's you see, I can't. This is how forgettable a lot of the series is. I can't remember the names of a lot of the episodes, but I remember the second episode almost set in like a desert landscape, and some of the shots were just
the locations that they find for some of the places is amazing.
Really
and that's
nice.
what the BBC do really well with a lot of their shows.
Yeah, they've got some consistent content actually. Like, I think the BBC's really underrated with a lot of the stuff it pumps out. I mean, I recently just, you know, everyone was watching Luther, season 4 of that, and that was brilliant. Or 5, I could be wrong there. But
although we're going to move on to criticise Doctor Who a little bit, just in terms of what the BBC is turning out. Just on a side note, like recently you've had The Bodyguard, you've had Killing Eve. Just shows like that.
Yeah,
I think they've done well to bring out, and it's kind of not necessarily a challenger for Netflix, but like it's kind of their own shows that are then doing well in like America and stuff as well. Which Doctor Who's always done well in America.
Yeah, it has. It's always had a really big fan base over there. It's one of them rare English shows that actually does that. Shall we talk about one of the cons then? So one of the things I said was the lack of 2-part episodes. Each is a self-contained story. Yeah. And I remember back in the day that a lot of my favourite episodes, and you knew like it was going to go down as a kid when you'd have a 2-parter. I think you had one around I could be wrong, around the 4th and 5th episodes of a season, and then like the 9th, 10th, around that sort of time. Yeah. I remember just some of them, like I can't remember the names of the old episodes, but you had like the Family of Blood, which was the one with the scarecrows and the Tennant's Doctor. I kind of couldn't remember that he was the Doctor. Really powerful, emotional episode. He had stuff like there's one where the Cyberman, Age of Steel. There was I'm trying to think of others. I'm very biased to the David Tennant era. I think that's my favourite.
Well, there were a lot, from my memory, that involved the Daleks that seemed to go into a 2-part episode.
Yeah, yeah. I had a rumour, you know, I don't know how much true this is, but the reason the Daleks are used so much, one, because they're like my favourite and best villain, but apparently there's some clause in their rights, in their image rights, that they have to use them once.
The Daleks' written rights.
Yeah. Copyright, you know. They have to use them at least once a season, or they lose some kind of copyright to them, which I don't know how much truth there is in that, but I remember seeing that on another Doctor Who video a while back when the season was airing. Very peculiar. What else did we have for cons? Forgettable villains. I mean, can you remember? I mean, you had Tim Shaw, who's the villain of the...
Yeah, I mean, Tim Shaw, it sounds like...
It's questionable, isn't it?
It sounds like I'm flicking on Birdwatch or Alton Watch or something. Tim Shaw's there with a pair of binoculars. Yeah. I think the only real memorable kind of villains or baddies, if you like, was the one where they were in like the warehouse.
Kablam.
Yeah, and they had those kind of like...
The delivery man. Yeah.
Emotionless robots that just...
It did feel like Doctor Who. It felt
menacing. It felt like an actual sci-fi thing rather than kind of...
Yeah.
Some of the weird things we had. A lot of it was... They'd just go back in time and there'd be like historical characters that would pop up.
Yeah.
Which in some points is nice, but when you keep repeating it over a couple of episodes, it gets a little bit tiring.
Yeah. We were saying recently, weren't we, about the Rosa Parks episode, and how I think one of the pros of the series, that I think Chibnall is really good at writing a lot of character-to-character moments, and there's some really touching moments. But the villain in that episode was so incredibly forgettable.
Yeah.
I feel
the blandest character, the most generic character.
I feel like if you're going to do a Rosa Parks episode, there could have been a way of doing it with a bit more of an interesting villain, and it's a shame, because I think a lot of that episode was really strong, and I think the message was really strong in that episode.
I think it was one of the best in the series.
Yeah.
Even if some of the historical
acting was very good as well.
Yeah. The only bone to pick I had with that was some of the historical accuracies. But I mean, you could let it slide a little bit again.
Yeah. Speaking of acting, I think we'll go with a pro and a con. I think that one of the massive pros has been Bradley Walsh's Graham. He has been brilliant, and as I was saying, with some of those character moments, him with Grace was absolutely brilliant and really touching. But then equally, I kind of, with Yaz and Ryan, I feel like a lot of their reactions are a bit weak. I think weak is maybe too harsh, but it's not in... I understand that it's a show about flying around time and space, but I do feel like if you've been thrown into a situation, you would be more almost distressed or react more, or...
A lot of the reactions are too obvious, like you know that something's happened, but the characters will have to specify that it's happening. It's like,
Doctor, look!
Look, Doctor, this is happening. Yeah, we know it's happening. We're watching it.
Can we not react to it a bit? And so something that I found a bit annoying was that they made this effort in the first episode. They highlighted how Yaz was a policewoman. They highlighted how Ryan had dyspraxia, and the police stuff just disappears out the window. Really, that doesn't make her. If she had some kind of law complex, some serious, and that could come into play in later episodes. They
kind of just forget about their backstory.
The Doctor in previous episodes has a history of forgiving, and but then maybe Yaz could be like, no, they've broken laws, they've done this, they've done that. You can't just, and it could create like a confrontation there, which could be really nice.
It was a little bit nicey at some point.
It was a bit. It was a bit like we were saying about Scooby Doo. It's like, come on, gang, let's solve mysteries, I'm just not there for that. And it's the same with Ryan with the dyspraxia. I mean, we were saying in the Kablam episode that they're on some speeding conveyor belt. 1 minute he can't ride a bike, and the next he's flinging himself from speeding conveyor belt over like a massive drop. It just wouldn't happen like that. It's just the consistency a bit I had a problem with.
There wasn't too much of it, was there?
No, and that's not to say that like previous Doctor Who hasn't had massive consistency issues or stuff like that, but I think it's just it's all very highlighted. Doctor Who's a very tender, almost subject at the moment. You've got the avid defenders and the avid haters, and I think we kind of sit in the middle. One of the few that kind of sit.
Yeah, after that season, I'm kind of edging towards disliking it. I think one of my main issues as well was something that I've just now completely forgotten.
Good. Content.
What was my main issue? Something's just come up into my head. It's now completely disappeared.
Well, I mean, while you have a think, we have got through most of the list.
I remember what.
They were right.
So one of my main issues is finding a target audience, because
that's a really good point.
It's always been a family-orientated show, but you've had aspects that will edge towards your adults, and then you have stuff which edges towards kids, and you'd have kind of sexual tension between characters, or like an adult really joke that would take place, particularly I think between when Matt Smith was playing the Doctor and Karen Gillan.
In the early episodes, the tension there, and I mean you had it with, you know, Tennant and Rose Tyler as well. I mean, Billy Piper. Sorry.
I think even we've touched on Missy as the Master. Even with her as the Master, there was elements where
complete tension. Yeah, I mean, and characters weren't afraid to, like, the show wasn't afraid to almost kill off characters. It's
you wouldn't really care if anyone really died within this sort of story arc.
I think something that's lacking as well is tension.
As a whole.
Tension as a whole,
suspense.
And something that I think, like I said earlier, Chibnall's very good at writing character moments, but in terms of narrative, there never seems to be a payoff. There never seems to be a proper conclusion in a lot of the episodes. No. I mean, we were chatting about old episodes, and we were saying how such a simple episode, one of Tennant's was Midnight, where it's just the Doctor on a train in, you know, this kind of desolate planet, and it's between the interactions between him and this woman that almost becomes possessed. She starts mimicking him, then they say stuff at the same time, and then she starts saying it before him.
And he becomes possessed.
And he becomes and I think that's one of the best Doctor Who episodes in my opinion. Like the acting, the tension, and you just don't really get that now. Maybe we'll get that further down the line with this Doctor. I mean, there's no more Doctor Who now until 2020.
It's a long time to wait.
Long time.
It's a long time for them to maybe.
I think it could be a good thing though. It could really get their acts together and build on the brilliant stuff they've done, and maybe improve some of the stuff that wasn't as good. But I think in general, I don't hate the show. You know, I'm still going to watch it. I'm not gonna not watch it. I think, you know, it's been part of my childhood, and I'm always going to be a bit biased for it. But
yeah, it's one of those shows that if you're used to watching a lot of it, you want to see how it pans out. And I think if you're kind of like a fan that's on the fringe, like I am, like I'm not like a massive Doctor Who fan, but I appreciate it for what it is. I like it as a show. Then, like with the female Doctor, with Jodie Whittaker, I was interested to see how it was.
Yes, everyone was. I think they got something on the first night worldwide, like 70 million views or something, which is silly. Like, you think about them numbers, that is crazy, and I think it broke records as well. So, you know, who knows? We'll
swings and roundabouts.
Swings and roundabouts. We'd love to hear your thoughts about, you know, what do you think of the show? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you like us? Are you kind of sitting in the middle a bit, sitting on the fence? What's your favourite Doctor? You know, what's your favourite memories from it?
What is your favourite Doctor?
Yeah, who is your favourite Doctor? I mean, what's yours? Who would you say?
I mean, David Tennant was amazing.
Yeah.
But I love Matt Smith as well, just the whole comedic element he brought to it. I really liked him. How they went for a younger feel.
Yeah, I liked them both, but I'd have to say Tennant.
Yeah,
it's just
I'd go with Tennant.
It's not just the fact I grew up with him, but when I went back and rewatched, he had that rage. He was also charismatic.
Yeah.
I liked how toward the end of his reign he had that god complex a little bit. It got deep in a way, and I quite liked that. But
yeah, everyone has their own Doctor.
They do indeed. But I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and see you soon.